Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the SITREP or summary for the day of 75 for the 20th of December for the Israeli-Hamas war. And I haven't been covering this for like 35 days, so I covered until day 35, and this is now day 75. Yeah, around 30 days. So yeah, so a lot have changed, and also a lot did not change. So after 30 days, day 35 and now this day 75, I can overlap and show you, the in terms of the Israeli advances. You can say it's a lot, you can also say it's not a lot. But the Israelis seems to be not in a rush in the way they do their offensive. So they are really taking their time. And the major difference is that the Israeli forces have basically encircled the entire of this North Gaza Strip. So after the previous report, it's just natural that we can see the Israeli forces closing up this entire northern beaches area, and they hold their defense line on very close to the river. They are not at the river, but very close to the river. And then they actually start to push towards Jabalia. They conquered like most of Beit Hanoun, although there is fighting being reported over at the Beit Hanoun region. There is fighting being reported over there. So and interestingly, the Israeli forces did not capture the entire of the Beit Halia region. They are still slowly maneuvering and probably slowly flattening the northern Gaza. One of the image that I saw of North Gaza Strip, probably closer to the border region, it was entirely flattened, totally flattened. So there's also another push coming from the southeast of Gaza City, and another push from the northwest of Gaza City. And of significance is that the Israeli forces have reached the city center. This is geolocated by a YWN reporter on Twitter, and there is this monument over here. This is the APC, Israeli APC, that the Hamas forces make into a monument where they successfully killed 6 Israeli soldiers long time ago. So and the Israeli soldiers basically have penetrated in, and they basically have created some kind of a security zone right in the middle. They flatten everything. They bulldoze the entire ground. Is turning the city into a desert. And another push was coming from the south. Fighting is reported in the Shejaya region. So this is another push. Probably the aim is to link up between the two sides. So once they linked up the two sides, what will happen is that then what you're gonna have another salient around this area here and a salient around here. So this Beit Halia might be a salient as well based on the mapping. I think by Live UA map, or is it by Raiba? So anyway, this basically they want to cut the Gaza city into half, and I think this is exactly what they're going to do. And I think that it's without a doubt they're going to get it done pretty successfully. So once they linked up, then I think they will start to push in multiple directions to squeeze and capture the entire area here. Fighting somehow is still around all this area here, so it's very interesting that the Hamas are able to continue to hold. Of course, this is not a small city. This is a pretty big city, way bigger than Bakhmut. So it's going to take some time. There is also interesting revelations coming out. Reported by Raiba, they say that there is a large network of tunnels between the Shifa hospital as well as the Rantisi hospital. So there is this interesting network of tunnels around this region here. What is another thing? And also, I don't know much about this. I don't think it's very important. By the point where the Israeli forces kind of just invaded, and I don't think it's going to do much. I think the more interesting was the revelation of this. Let me use another color. The at the tunnel around near the Erez checkpoint, around 400 meters from the checkpoint. 400 meters, so it's actually very close. It's much more closer than where I put the cross. So it's probably very close. I think it's one of these buildings around here, maybe somewhere here, or maybe somewhere around here. It's somewhere very close to the checkpoint. And in that tunnel, the tunnel can actually feed in cars. So the Israeli, basically in their propaganda film, also shows that They literally drive a car in to show that it is possible to drive a car in. And it is believed that that was part of the plan by the Hamas forces of the Al-Qassam Brigade. Basically emerge directly from the tunnel, and they can actually penetrate through without having a long drive that can be spotted by UAV or satellite imaging or helicopters. So by not doing this, they can actually launch a surprise attack, and it turns out to be very successful. As we see in the October 7th, a lot of vehicles came out from the Gaza Strip and caught the Israeli by surprise. So that's from the northern side of the Gaza Strip. In the southern part of the Gaza Strip, down the river, there's this river here. In case you don't know, there's one river here. So there is fighting reported at the eastern part of Bureij, according to the live UA map. So there's some fighting around here. I think the Israelis are just holding a position here. So this is likely to be a Hamas attack against the Israeli forces. Further south, the Israeli forces is launching a massive raid into Han Yunis itself. So this Han Yunis attack comes in two directions. The Israeli forces went up the Kisufim road and then down the Salah al-Din, and they hit towards the center of Han Yunis. Another push is going towards Bani Suhaila, and so according to the information reported by the live UA map, there is clashes reported at Han Yunis itself as well as in the area of Bani Suhaila. So this is currently happening with the Israeli forces making this very similar push, something that they did in the Gaza city. So this is another push around here. So okay, live UA map basically mapped this entire area as under Israeli control. This I doubt is like the case. I don't think that is the case, but anyway, I think it's not the case. So the Israeli forces likely to go to try to meet up with the forces that's coming across the main road, and then they will encircle this area, and then they will try to close it up and create a massive foothold over in the northeastern part of Han Yunis, which eventually I believe they will then push all the way to the refugee camp. So this area here, this is actually the designated humanitarian zone by the Israeli forces in the El Mawasi region. So this area here, the Israelis say that they will not touch. So all the refugees or the Palestinian civilians are asked to evacuate into this area. I'm not sure how are they going to feed this much people, but the important note about this is that there's a pier over here. So the Israelis, if they actually gain control, if they manage to go in or make contact with this area here, then they can actually see if they can actually fix their international image by treating these people well, by sending supplies and then securing this entire area, making sure that these people are safe. Well, but of course, the Israelis don't hope too much. I also not hoping too much. I'm just saying that the right thing to do, given whatever the extent of the things that have already happened. They should at least do something else to try to fix their totally rubbish image right now. There's multiple salients over in this area here in the Elbasan El Kabira region. The Israeli also supposedly have captured the Kirbat Erza'a, as well as fighting in the also some kind of position south of the El Fakari region. So all these regions are all considered gray zones according to RIBA's mapping. So we shall continue to monitor. So this is the summary for the day of 75 for the 20th of December for the Hamas-Israeli war. I will cover this war, but I will not go into granular mapping in terms of this because of the lower viewership. It will be taking away from other content, for example geopolitical stuff. So I will try to keep up again, try to restart and try to keep up with this conflict. And please keep your don't say negative stuff in the comment. It's very demoralizing, and I just don't feel like covering this war, because I'm neutral. I don't give a damn about the war as much as some of you guys who are very emotional. The reality is this is war. People die. That's just how it is. So I say this in the beginning of the Ukraine war. I think this now is the same. it's the same. So anyway, just hope for peace. But of course, by the look of it, it's not going to be anytime soon. And by the rate of the advance, I believe that the war will take another few months, at least 4 to 6 months, before Israel will conquer the entire of Gaza Strip and have full control over it. So the question is not, Israel can conquer Gaza Strip or not. I think this is a foregone conclusion, given the extent of the collapse of the Hamas forces. I think because there is hardly any real notable like defense line. They are just popping up and then just doing guerrilla warfare. It's not much. So the main thing to note is more like what is Israel is going to do after they conquer the entire of Gaza Strip. So I think that is the main question, really to ask. It's not the war. The war itself is pretty foregone. It's a very one-sided affair. Many people call this a genocide. I don't think it's a genocide yet. Things can get much worse. For example, bombing, literally refugee camps, that could be much worse. But tentatively, this not seems to be the case. But of course, a lot of civilians have died. It's very sad. And which is why, I condemn the attack on October 7 right in the beginning, because it's not because Palestine have no rights to defend themselves or to revenge for whatever reason. The main problem is when they do something like that, a lot of civilians have to die. And this is why I'm against October 7. So, but it has already happened. You see for yourself. Everything I predicted has came true. So the only thing I can't predict is what Israel is going to do after this. That's the main thing. They will not be able to push the refugees into Egypt, because Egypt is making double sure that they were not going to allow Palestinians through. So yeah, it's going to still be an Israeli problem. The Palestine forever is going to be an Israeli problem. So the Israelis have to solve it in a better way. Like I mentioned earlier, they need to do better. They need to clean up their image. They need to treat these people like human beings. But we shall see. A lot of things that came out from Israel, from the servicemen, is quite disgusting. So yeah, it's going to be a one hell of a ride to reach peace. Thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the Ukraine war update. And I'll see you guys